I never thought I'd be the kind of woman with a story like this. But here I am, 41 years old, married for 20 years, mother of 2 college kids, and for the past year, I've been living a secret that could destroy my entire family. It started with a boy I'd known since he was a teenager, my son's former best friend. If you like real-life relationship stories with shocking twists, subscribe, because this one gets worse the longer it goes. My husband and I got married young, 2 kids, a nice house, the whole picture-perfect life. But behind the scenes, it wasn't perfect. Years ago, I found out my husband cheated. We stayed together mostly for the kids, mostly for stability, but something inside me never healed. I smiled, I cooked, I worked, I played happy wife, while feeling like I was slowly disappearing. Our son had this best friend growing up. Let's call him Alex. Tall, athletic, charming, always around our house like family. Then drama hit. My son's girlfriend broke up with him and started dating Alex soon after. That betrayal was brutal. There was a fight, a huge one, and just like that, friendship over. Then my son left for college. A few months later, I started noticing something strange. Alex's car, parked outside our house, late at night. At first, I assumed it was nothing, until the day I walked past my daughter's room and saw them together. She was 19, he was 20. They froze, and instead of yelling, I did something I regret to this day. I didn't make a scene. We pretended it didn't happen, and we made an agreement. My son never finds out. Pattern interrupt, and that right there, that silence was the first brick in the wall that trapped us all. After my daughter left for college too, the house felt painfully empty. I'd wake up, make coffee, stare at the quiet hallway, and realize my entire identity had been mom. And now even that was fading. Then one day, I got a friend request from Alex. I accepted without thinking. He started liking a few of my photos, harmless ones, and I liked a couple of his posts too. It felt stupid, like something a lonely woman shouldn't be doing. I asked my daughter casually, pretending I didn't care. So, how are things with Alex? She shrugged and said they'd broken up months ago, that they were only casual sometimes, and I don't know why, but that stung more than it should have. Then the messages started. Innocent at first. He said he missed my banana bread. I told him to come over and have some. He did, and from that day on, he came back again and again. Every visit was the same pattern. Small talk, jokes, compliments, and that lingering look. And the worst part, I laughed it off, but I never stopped him. And when you don't stop someone crossing the line, they start believing you gave them permission. One afternoon, he showed up straight from the gym. He said he needed a quick shower before meeting friends for a movie. I said sure, like it was normal. I stayed downstairs and made sandwiches. When he came down again, he looked different. Not just because he was fresh from the shower, but because he stood in my living room like he belonged there, too confident, too comfortable. He ate slowly, made jokes, kept stepping closer into my personal space. And then he said, "Can I show you something?" My heart started hammering. I whispered, "What?" He didn't do anything graphic, but he leaned in and said quietly, "You're not as okay as you pretend to be." And I hated him for being right. I stood up and said, "I think you should go." But my legs didn't move. My hands didn't open the door. I didn't leave the room. And in that silence, he stepped closer. He touched my hand, and I let him. That moment felt like falling off a cliff. Wrong, terrifying, but also like someone finally saw me again. After he left, I cried, not because I was hurt, because I knew I had crossed a line I could never uncross. But 2 days later, I texted him again. And that's when I realized something dangerous. Loneliness doesn't just make you sad, it makes you reckless. It became routine. A particular time, a particular day, my husband at work. Alex would show up, and we crossed boundaries we never should have. I'm not going to describe anything explicit, because I'm ashamed enough already, but what happened was real. And it wasn't love, it was a mistake I kept repeating. He'd say things that made me feel young again, wanted again, like I wasn't invisible. Then one day he asked if we could keep proof of our conversations, not in a graphic way, more like proof, like it was some twisted trophy. I said no at first, but he pressured me with words like, "It's just for me. I'll never show anyone. Don't you trust me?" And eventually, I made another terrible decision. Then came the worst day. During one of those afternoons, he pulled out his phone, and he showed me something I can't unsee. Evidence involving my daughter. It was proof. Proof that he didn't care who he hurt. Proof that he didn't love anyone. He loved control. And instead of stopping, I froze. Because I wasn't just guilty, I was trapped. Mini cliffhanger. And Alex knew it. He knew I'd never tell my husband. He knew I'd never tell my kids. So he had power. And he started using it. Christmas break arrived. Both kids came home. And the moment I saw my son walk through the door, smiling, I felt like the worst mother alive. Then my daughter started hanging out with Alex again. Seeing him in my house during the holidays felt unreal. Like watching a horror movie where nobody knows the killer is in the room. We passed each other in the hallway, and his eyes would lock onto mine for a second too long. One night, he messaged, "Be ready." My stomach dropped. Then he came over. He stayed in my daughter's room for almost an hour, then walked straight to my door. I whispered, panicking, "She's right next door." He smiled like I was being cute. And then he said the sentence that made my blood turn cold. "I already told her about us." I froze. He added, "She's not mad. She thinks it's exciting. And now we're going to do this my way." Then Alex did something that made me genuinely afraid. He texted her right there in front of me, "Come to your mom's room." I panicked, started grabbing my clothes, my phone, anything. I whispered, "No, don't do this." He stopped me. "Let me handle it." The door opened. My daughter walked in. She looked at me, and her face wasn't shocked. It was unreadable, like she already knew. Alex stood between us like he owned the room. He spoke calmly, almost like a therapist. "Both of you are lying to the same people. Both of you are pretending you're innocent. So stop pretending." Then he did the most manipulative thing imaginable. He told us this was normal, that we were adults, that secrets make things stronger. My daughter didn't scream. She didn't run. She just stared at me and whispered, "Mom, how long has this been happening?" I couldn't answer. I started crying. And that's when Alex said, "See, you both needed this. Now you can't judge each other." He didn't force anything physical between us, but he did force something worse, a shared secret. A secret that chained my daughter and me together forever. Mini cliffhanger. And once your child shares your shame, your authority as a parent dies instantly. After that night, everything changed. My daughter and I became closer in a broken way. We didn't talk about it directly, but the air between us was different. We weren't mother and daughter anymore. We were two people who had crossed the same line. My son still had no idea, and every time he laughed at dinner, I felt like a thief stealing his innocence. Alex still messaged sometimes. I usually didn't reply, but late at night, I would sit in silence, staring at my ceiling, thinking, how did I become this woman? How did I become the person I used to judge? And the worst part, I don't know if I'll ever forgive myself enough to feel like a good mom again. If you've ever carried a secret this heavy, drop a comment. No judgment, just honesty. And if this story hit you, smash like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. More real, raw stories coming.